So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again with the Real Talk podcast. 3 days later than usual. Obviously, Arsenal played Oxford away on Monday. A resounding victory. Well, in the end. But we have bigger fish to fry this weekend. And obviously, big up to everybody in the chat room as well. Jez, how are you, mate? How you been? How's your week been?
Oh, good. I love that intro. I was getting right into that. It's not my.
Big up to Mohammed. Halimi,
a little bit of
in the chat as well. He made that for me, so big up to him.
I was having a little bit of this behind the scenes. Yeah, no, good. It's all good, man. Good victory, Oxford. I then went on a major rant, very, very angry about the situation with Felix. Been a good week. Apart from I just got absolutely drenched walking home. The weather here is horrendous. In fact, the road over there, the main road, is absolutely flooded. And I'd have a quick shower before I came on here. And did a podcast last night with Kenny, which is really fun, actually.
Really
enjoyed
it. I watched it after I finished my watch along. Very good.
I know. Apart from that one error that I did, which was not intentional. Luca has obviously not got a fan there. He's that guy doesn't like him, but there we go, fair play. No, I'll be looking forward to this. And then later tonight, 8 o'clock, I'm on with D's on the north side. So
big up.
I'm looking forward to the big match on Sunday at 4:30, obviously.
Kenny's link for his channel is in the description, people. JEZ'S link for his channel is in the description. Kenny's Insta is in there. Kenny, how are you, mate?
I've been fantastic. Last night, 2 days ago, I got contacted by Chris Cowling of, Tottenham Fan channel to do a video for him. So I did it for him last night, and it's available for people to see, for all of you guys, because obviously I mentioned the Rat Army when I was introducing myself, and I have been invited on another Spurs podcast. I just pray that I have my equipment this Saturday. But all in all, I haven't. One thing I haven't done is got myself into a mousetrap set by Terry Flewis. Once again, my good friend Lee fell into one of Terry Flewis' clickbaits. Yeah, let's just say we'll do the rounds, because I know exactly. We've had this discussion on the show about, Arsenal and Chelsea, who's the biggest club, and I know for a fact that was clicked, baited, and to extent the full discussion.
What do you mean by clickbaited? Because everything I said, I actually mean. Like
what's happened is, in terms of the context,
you mean I fell for the bait?
It's not really fell for the bait. I think in terms of the context of what you said, you were talking about. Like I said, at the present, and the fact they won 2 gongs in Europe, in terms of blah blah, and that we need to get back to that. But all people who have got problems with all three of us are saying, "Oh, that you're being negative, you're finding problems not there." And the narrative that we've had all the season, yes, we're on top of the table, but we want this not only to be sustained, we want this to be a norm. Because we got to restore reputation as London's biggest club. Yes, historically we are the biggest club. We are bigger than Chelsea historically. But the fact is, the last 20 years, they've won more titles than we have. They've won 2 European Cups. We need to restore order here. So what you're saying is, come on, Arsenal, let's get back where we need to belong. And people who've got problems with everything we say don't see it like that. They should really read between the lines, because what you were saying is, what are we going to do about it? That's what you're saying, but they're just,
The thing is, a lot of people disagree, obviously, with everything I say, regardless of whether I say the sky is blue, they'll say it's pink, because it's League Gunner. Right? That's just how it is. I'll play up to the role all day long. I couldn't care less. Yeah. But the funny thing is I've seen people saying, there's no way that Chelsea are bigger, blah, blah, blah. We've won more FA Cups. We've won more leagues, which is true. Factually, that's correct. Right. But this is where I have a slight difference with it. To win a Champions League, first of all, you have to be in the Champions League, which we haven't been for 6-7 years, right? Secondly, you have to have an enormous amount of luck. And thirdly, you have to take your chances when they're presented to you in big games at big times and your big players need to step up. They've done that twice. How many Champions Leagues or how many league titles would you say, and the chat can play along, would you guys say makes up one Champions League? How many FA Cups would you replace for one Champions League? Like, because that's how I'm looking at it. Like, an FA Cup's great. We've all grown up on that. We love that competition. But we're all dying to win the Champions League. And it's like, I would quite happily sacrifice a few of them trophies if we had beaten Barcelona. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, when you look at it like that, they have won the biggest competition twice. They have won the Europa League twice. We've been in it for 6 years straight and still haven't even won it. Yeah. So they've also won the Super Cup twice. They also won in Europe a lot more than us before Roman come along. So they're European pedigree. And this is why when people get it twisted and think I'm just having a dig, I'm not. I'm using logic with it. And we've got no European pedigree whatsoever at all. Like, it's actually embarrassing for the size of our club that we've not really done anything in Europe. And then when you look at them, then you add in their Premier League titles, then you add in their other trophies. Yeah, cool, they've bankrolled it. Well, there's no law to say you can't spend money. Like, Kroenke could dip into his bank account and put money in it. Like, we could use our own money. We've waffled along for 12 days in a transfer window, watching Southampton, who are bottom, sign players. So my logic with it was like, you know, Champions League, it's the biggest one. Europa League, okay, cool. It's maybe seen as a laughing stock compared to that. But I've seen people sitting there this season saying, get rid of the FA. We don't need the FA Cup. Let's go for Europa League. But then on the same side, they then sit there and say, yeah, but we've won it more than anyone. That makes us bigger. We can't have it both ways. But I don't know. It is what it is. It's all subjective in it, I suppose. But we have got loads to talk about. Obviously, the transfer window has been a shambles so far. Our CEO, yes, Vinay Venkatesham has spoken about top four. We want to be back in the Champions League. We're happy with the squad and all of that. We're going to get into that in a bit as well. The new wrap around the stadium looks amazing, I can't lie. And then obviously we'll start off with the North London derby, Jez. Harry Kane can break the record of top goal scorer for Tottenham. What better game to do it than at White Hart Lane against Arsenal? He is already the record goal scorer in this fixture anyway. They normally get a penalty. There's normally action everywhere across the pitch, red cards, etc., etc. We're obviously flying high. Their fans want everyone out. Where are you at with this, mate? Is it going to be a walk in the park like it should be?
No. This is going to be a battle of attrition. I'm telling you, this is going to be one hot game. I wish I was going to be there. Unfortunately, I'm not. I think it's going to be fireworks. Kane's going to be up for this all day. I bet he's buzzing about it now. He can potentially break Jimmy Greaves' all-time record, 266 goals, I think I'm right in saying. He's going to want to do that against us at home, at their new stadium. And I dear God hope not, because if that happens, we are never going to ever hear the end of it. And it will be thrust down our throats forever and a bleeding day. It's going to be a massive game. I'm going personally. My prediction is I'm going 1-1. I think Tottenham are a little bit in and out of form. Arsenal, I hope, will be big up for this game, unlike last year when we absolutely fell apart and we embarrassed ourselves. Kenny will be there, and I'm envious of you going. And good luck to you, my friend. Hope you have a great day out. This is massive game, Lee. This is a massive game in our calendar. We have got to prove our worth now. With the squad we've got, it's time, and I'm going to say it, it's time from Eddie Nketiah. You have really got to show your mettle on Sunday at 4:30. Because if you don't deliver on that game, then, mate, you're wasted. Because, yeah, okay, everybody says, oh, you scored 2 against Oxford. Well, that's his level. That is his level. And you, matey, have got to turn up against and I know Lee don't agree with my statement here, our biggest rivals in North London. It is hereditary. It is the war of attrition. It is the one game of the season I get so nervous about. Always have, always will. And we've got to deliver. No question. We've pontificated, pissed-arsed about, not brought anybody in. And one player who could have made a difference in that game, and I put it out there, would have been Yao Felix. But no. We let him go to Chelsea.
Well, on that very quickly, Jez, I've seen a lot of people this week saying it's a waste of money, whilst then trying to put a case forward as to why £80 million plus wages on a 22-year-old with 9 goals to his name isn't a waste of money. Kind of makes no sense, really, to me. And where does he fit? We'll talk about him in a bit. But Kenny, you're obviously going to the game. Stay safe. It's it's a war zone down there on match day, mate.
Well, first of all, the do's and don'ts of the North London Derby. Don't trust the Metropolitan Police, especially don't go on their wretched escort. Because one of the things with the Metropolitan Police, 2 things they do. They actually might as well shine a beacon to who you are, and most importantly, they never get you in time for kickoff. Rarely do, even if you come with ample time, because what they do is that they just let's just say it's like going to the dentist, go and get an escort to that ground, because you'll go about 20 yards, then they'll stop you, then you'll go another 20 yards, and you're thinking, come on, and then when you know you've got ample time to get a kickoff, when you're actually near the ground, they hold you again, and they tell you all sorts of jack and nories about kickoff being delayed for your purpose, when it doesn't, and it's an absolute lie. I'll never forget the time when I stupidly went down the escort when we played Tottenham, when Fellaini got those 2 goals. It was it was chaos. But then again, they did me. I had to go in that escort because I, for some reason, had a brainwave and wore an Arsenal shirt. Won't be happening again.
Really?
Yes. It was complete and utter madness, foolhardiness, stupidity of the highest.
Did you overdose on numbers that day off your Ribena, Kenny?
It had to be that, because I was so excited about the game. I had a good friend of mine with me, work colleague, but a very good friend as well. And we, to this day, we must have been on something. We must have been on something. We both don't drink, but we clearly must have had some sort of medication put in our food before we got there, because it was just beyond the realms of stupidity. But I won't be doing that again, ever again.
The only thing I've ever worn down there was a scarf round the waist under a coat, and I've only ever put it on when you're in the crowd, and then we'll take it off, put it around your waist, and walk home.
Yes, I'll never do it again. In fact, I don't even wear colours to go and watch us play at home. I'll wear them on if it's really baking hot, then I'll definitely do that. But in terms of like the game itself, it's a game that stresses me out all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean every time, because simple reason is that it's a game I really want to win that badly. I was on like doing a video for someone, doing for a Spurs fan, and I said it actually gives me more pleasure to win at their ground than is at Highbury. And the reason why I say it is because an away win there, especially for the fact we haven't won in 16 years. Last time we won was 3-1 when Addy Bar got a couple of goals and Fabregas got a goal as well. That's where I really, really, really are desperate to get something. So in that respect, the nerves get there. And another thing as well, we're going for the title, they're going for the top 4. It will give them great pleasure to stop us from winning them. Like I said, winning on Sunday, and in order to take points off us just for that alone. But the fact is that we saw something in Newcastle where teams are going to sort of play, be compact. And you know what Spurs are like. Second half, they're excellent. First half, they for some reason they're cagey. You know what I mean? So that's where my massive concerns are, because I look at the way we prefer to play Zinchenko, where he becomes an inverted fullback. I just look at Spurs and I'm thinking there's a lot of spaces Zinchenko would leave for their their wing backs or wingers to exploit, and that's why. Can you imagine Kulusevski just looking up and thinking, I've got so much space here. It does worry me. It does concern me. Is he going to play Tierney there just for that one game, or is he going to go with his first choice, Shevchenko? Those are loads of things that are stressing me out big time about this game. But it's always stressful when we play Spurs. Harry Kane as well. One of the things we spoke about amongst ourselves and on another platform together is that Tottenham are looking for one idiot, and I mean one idiot. Remember, they got a player sent off at our ground. All they need is one idiot. Because they're going to be playing the referee, doing exactly what Newcastle did last Tuesday. They're going to have their own version of Dan Burn, fighting for every decision. Reminding the referee that they booked one of their players for a pull, so they've got to do the same for them. They just need one idiot. Not just to give away a penalty, one idiot get a red card. Don't play into their hands. Be aggressive. Put your tackles in, impose yourself, but don't go down to 10 men against that lot, and don't give away a penalty against that lot. Don't give them anything. Let them earn it. Let them play out their skins and beat us with our stupidity. Well, let's face it, we've been absolutely idiotic when we've played there in the last few seasons. If we're not, ball watching and giving a ball away for silly goals like we did 2 seasons ago, we're making stupid mistakes in terms of giving away a stupid penalty and, playing into their hands. As I said, if they beat us, let them beat us fair and square, but don't give it to them. Don't give them the confidence that they've lost, because that's the thing. Mark my words, that is exactly what Spurs are going to do. Now, I'm not saying they're only going to beat us because of a penalty and the referee. That's complete garbage. They'll beat because they don't need a referee to raise their game. They don't need people on Sky Sports to say we haven't won there for a long time. They're going to be motivated anyway. They've got 62,000 fans who won't tolerate any sort of inertia, even in the first half. So we've got to be ready. Got to be ready. Got to get our tactics spot on. And if we're in the ascendancy for the first 15 minutes, we've got to score. We scored the first goal. We're difficult to beat. If we don't score in the first half, and then they galvanise themselves and become second half Tottenham, we're going to find it difficult. Very, very difficult to even get a point. So we've got to switch on.
100%. I want to see the same energy as when we battered them at our ground 3-0 and got Nuno sacked. That's the energy I want to see. Start early, just blitz them. Yeah, because if we go 2-0 up against them, and let's assume that they're going to start slow like they have in every single game this season, we start fast. If we get 2 goals up against them, that's curtains. Yeah, they will not be coming back from 2-0 up. They'll collapse and we'll just go and batter them. But I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I just think that they're going to somehow get something. I don't think they'll beat us. I think they'll get a draw somehow. But I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong. Big up to everyone in the chat, man. There's 500 people in there. Smash the like button. Subscribe to JEZ'S. His channel is in the description. Subscribe to my channel, and Kenny's Insta is in there as well. But talking of referees and penalties and all of that, we didn't get a penalty the other day in the Oxford game. And since then, JEZ'S, we've been charged by the FA for failing to control our players. That is now the second charge in a week, because we got charged for Mikel Arteta berating the fourth official the other day. Now, everyone's saying there's a conspiracy, because obviously Klopp does it, Pep does it, all the other managers over the years have done it. Is there a conspiracy, or is it just bad luck?
No, there's no conspiracy. Let's put it right. At the end of the day, discipline is a very important factor in any sport. Arteta didn't show discipline, and he acted in a very, very unprofessional way. Yeah, we all get upset about things. Of course we do. To me, he just went over the top. There's a way of debating things in a professional manner, and that's not the way to do it. And I'm sorry, there's no conspiracy. Pep Guardiola, Klopp, they do it in a slightly different way, maybe a more controlled, professional way. So, no, I'm sorry, you act like that, you deserve what you get. It's no different to how you say, well, that fella there got done for drink driving and he's 1.5 times over the limit. this guy here got done for drink driving. He was 2.5 times over the limit. There's no fucking difference. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
No, I don't know about swearing, mate.
If you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. Simple. You know, if you're breaking the rules of conduct deemed by the FA, then you're breaking the rules deemed by the FA. Accept your punishment and move on. Simple. This conspiracy rubbish that referees are against us, they hate us, da. I'm sorry to tell you, some of these people, there's been games where Arsenal have got away with murder. Oh, nobody mentions that.
Mate, Jesus should have been booked about 4 times in a game this season. He didn't even get booked once.
Exactly. So I can't. I'm sorry, I can't go along these snowflakes that, you know. Oh well, no, you can't do that to Arteta because Pep Guardiola gets away with it, and so does Klopp. Grow up, grow a pair, and move on and find a life.
What about you, Kenny?
Well, the thing about it, Jesus has already got a good point, because simple reason is that it really gets on my nerves when I have these people who should know better. They should really know better. There's people who've watched 1,000+ games, either going to the grounds or even watching on TV. They are feeding the narrative to a lot of our fans who are saying, "Oh, everything's against Arsenal." I couldn't care less. What do we get? I believe that it happens on the pitch. All this rubbish I hear from certain, pork chops on Twitter about, Ferguson. The reason why Ferguson got all those titles because he bought off referees. Oh, please go away. Go away, you big B. It really annoys me, because simple reason is that that's your contribution. Well, you might as well, if you're going to think like that everyone's got an agenda against Arsenal, then stop going on podcasts. Just don't have podcasts, because podcasts normally last about between an hour and a half. Just don't have podcasts, because as far as they're concerned, it's black and white. You've made your point. That should only take about five minutes. What's the point of having podcasts talking about the pros and cons of the football team, where we've been playing well, where we think we can improve, our opinion on a certain player, our opinion on our opponents? We might as well not have any of these discussions if everyone's against, if we believe that it's not a level playing field, that everyone's against Arsenal. By the way, Klopp was sanctioned after what happened against Man City, in a game that they won. So I think that, so for Arsenal fans to say it's just Arteta, it's complete rubbish, complete nonsense. There's other coaches who've been. What about Conte?
He's been charged quite a few times, mate. He's been charged after he mentioned some comments in a draw. I think it was a draw against West Ham.
Exactly. And what about Conte got done a few times this season, isn't he? Wasn't he banned in Europe as well? Remember that time when that goal got disallowed against Frankfurt? Wasn't Conte banned? Wasn't he sent off? Happens. The rules, the rules. You don't get in officials' faces. You don't like I said, get in the ear of the fourth official. You don't swear. You don't, block, getting away their personal space. It's football. It happens. The fact is that,
especially when we're supposed to be classy Arsenal, according to our
exactly. But the fact is, no one has got an agenda against Arsenal. Yes, the media may report differently, blah blah, but the media have an agenda against everyone. The fact is that if we don't win the league this season, it's because we were short and Man City were better, and that's how. And so the onus is of us is to be better. All right, the VAR kind of is trying to even things out. I promise you, for every bad decision that goes against us, we're going to get decisions going our way. We didn't lose.
We didn't lose against Liverpool. They should have had a penalty. Gabriel handballed both.
We didn't lose against Man United because Gabriel's goal got disallowed. We lost against Man United because we ran out of steam and we played the high line, and Marcus Rashford and the accurate pass of Eriksen and Fernandes got in behind us, and we lost. We lost because Man United did the basics better than us. Stop kidding yourselves, people. And let's just, rather than trying to get a few brownie points and getting a few 1,000 likes on Twitter, or get a few people getting you to follow you. Come on, you're better than that. You're better than this. You really are better than this. We're winning and we're top of the table because we're playing good football. Yep. But if it doesn't happen, it's because teams on the day were better than us. Stop trying to be, jockey for the position of being a true gooner A true gooner is someone who supports the club through thick and thin. That's it. Not coming out like a big baby who's in the playground of Christ the King in Taunton Park. And like,
Yeah.
come on, we're better than this.
Big up, man. Well said as well. Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. They forget it when it goes the other way, like Gabriel handball against Palace. I think that was at 0-0 as well, or 1-0, whatever it was. But anyway, it's irrelevant. Question for you all: which of Tottenham's players scare you the most? Harry Kane's always a problem, and Kulusevski, I think he's going to be playing. He's a good player. Depends who we put in at left back. Obviously, Zinchenko can't defend, but is very good on the ball. More of a midfielder than a left back. So if Kulusevski's playing, hopefully, if Zinchenko plays, he's not going to be caught out of position, because if he is, he's going to have half a White Hart Lane to run into. But other than that, Son's in poor form. Other than that, I ain't really worried about any of them. What about you, Jez?
I could give you two, but one of the players that I really like, I think he's a quality player, is Son. He always does damage against us. He always seems to get Kane a goal. And we've got to negate that fella. But apparently, I read something the other day. Now he's wearing this mask. He can't see the ball. Interesting.
I seen this the other day. I was like, we'll take it off then, mate. He took it off when he scored. You see the ball that day, didn't he?
Apparently, he's only wearing it for his parents. Apparently. There we go. So a bit bizarre. Yeah, I mean, I've been sensible. I fear Kane on Sunday because he's going to want to really dig it into us. He's going to want to break that record against us up the lane, and that's one player we've absolutely got to take out of the game. I mean, fairly mark him out of the game and stop him from actually causing us any trouble. Because I'll tell you what, if we let that guy play against us, and if we haven't got our defence on song on Sunday, we're in trouble. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Kenny, what about you, mate?
Harry Kane and Son, I still think they're their best players. I did Chris Cannon asked me yesterday, how many Arsenal players will get in the Spurs team? I said, well, you only have two left. And the two players I chose were Harry Kane and Son. Harry Kane, pre-Mourinho, is a different player post-Mourinho. He's a complete, not just complete striker, a complete footballer. You know, that he easily compensates for the fact that Spurs lack creativity since Eriksen left the stage, and Dele Alli isn't breaking from the midfield to score goals from the midfield. His range of passing from a deep line forward row is amazing. You know, Kulusevski, Richarlison, if he plays, and Son got no complaints. The service he gives them alone is brilliant. And even from dead ball situations, he's brilliant. And Son is just a machine. He's a machine. I know he's off form, but after the way the season he had last season, and the way he's played since 2016, 2017 season, the guy's a machine. He causes just as much damage as Kane does. I am scared of them. I'm a bit scared of Kulusevski, but those two, I hope they get injured. Because they get injured, that's going to be an easier game. I'm not saying it's going to be an easier game, but I'll tell you one thing, it will be two less problems to worry about. Harry Kane can lay claim to being probably one of the best strikers in Europe, but he's much more of a complete striker than Haaland. He's entitled to because he's got a lot of experience over Haaland. But I'll tell you one thing about Harry Kane, if he isn't motivated for the North London derby, I'll tell you one thing. The minute we go into song and talk about the World Cup, that's enough motivation for him.
100%. Let's get on to transfers. Well, lack of transfers. It is actually mad that we are sat here and we have wasted 12 days so far of this transfer window. We haven't signed anybody. We've let João Felix go straight down the road to Chelsea. But apparently that's okay. That doesn't matter because 15 million for 4.5 months. That when he could get into the starting 11 over Eddie Nketiah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't really matter, mate. That's cool. But we're looking at a guy. I'm going to share the screen. Somebody put this in my comments earlier, and I can't unsee it. I've got to show you this. We are signing, well, trying to sign H from Steps, the pop band back in the day. He is now known as H from Steps. I cannot unsee it. That is him. 80 million pounds is what they're asking. The latest update from Fabrizio was exactly the same as it's been for 3 weeks, just in a different wording. Like, the player wants to come to us. He's obsessed with the Premier League and Arsenal. We're obsessed with him. We're trying to smooth over the deal. We're in contact with him every day, etc., etc., etc. At what point, Jez, do we walk away from this? Because listen, you're older than me. Yeah, you've obviously run a business. Obviously, you've done with negotiations and stuff like that in various different forms. If you're having direct contact with someone every single day to try and buy something, or vice versa, they're trying to buy from you, for example, at what point, when you're constantly calling and the price still ain't changing, do you say, well, okay, we've wasted nearly half the window, let's move on? At what point would you do that? Because for me, I think this is ridiculous. I can't lie. It's mad. 9 goals. He's played 29 league games. He scored 9 goals. Is he going to get a start? Probably not. Martinelli's not getting benched anytime soon. I've seen people say that Martinelli could go up front. Well, if Eddie scores at the weekend and scores against United, is he then getting dropped? Doubt it. So what's the crack here, Jez?
Well, I'll just say this. I was very lucky to be educated in business by a very, very top businessman. My dad was an excellent businessman. He worked at high level in some very, very big companies. And when I started my little company, just me on my own, he actually sat me down and said, negotiation is the key. And after a year, when I'd built up a small business, I'd asked him and said, look, I've got the chance of getting this contract. How do I go about it? And he gave me some background information. And he said, if you cannot get the decision over the line to your terms in 5 days, walk away. Walk away. He said, and the company he was working for was a multi-billion pound company in centre of London. And he said, if we cannot get our deals over the line on their level, the levels they were talking about, within a month, walk away, because the deal's not going to suit what you want. It's not what he wants, it's what you want. And he said, where you're going with what you are negotiating on, walk away after 5 days. Now, Arsenal Football Club, this is not $1 billion plus. They could have done this deal 8 days ago. They've pontificated, they've pissed around. They did the same with Felix. Personally, Lee, Kenny, I think going for Felix on that loan deal was excellent business, because we will recoup that money within a month. If Arsenal was serious about that deal, they would have done that. They weren't. Are they serious about this? No. This is just another cloud of mystery that Edu, Vinay, and all that like to do. If they are serious about getting this guy, Mudryk, do it. Fly out, do the deal, pay the check in stages. It will be in payments over stages. We're not going to pay out 80 odd million. I don't know anything about this fella. I've spoken to people who know more than I do, and I respect their views. So do it. Stop piss arsing about. Do it. If you really want him, do it. But no, 12 days in and we're doing nothing.
Mate, it's mad. You just said something as well about if you want the player, just go and pay the money. Right? We've wanted this player since the summer. The price has doubled since the summer. Yeah. They've sat there and said that they don't need the money. We'll call their bluff then. Just say, listen, it's been great doing business with you. Obviously, we couldn't finalize the deal. It's a shame, but we'll shake hands, we'll move on, and maybe later down the road, we can maybe do something. But right now, listen, we're halfway through the window. We're top of the table. We need to strengthen. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah. Now you have completely snookered them because their best player is still going to stay. So they're cool with that. But are they ever going to get that kind of money again? Probably not.
No.
So now you put the ball back in their court. Yeah. And reverse the psychology on them. They want to play hardball. Well, we don't need the money, which is rubbish anyway. Yeah. And we're sitting there saying we want the player, he wants to come to us. Well, if we want him that badly, pay the money. And as for Chelsea, you said something about Felix, we would have got the money back within a month. 100%, right? The shirts, obviously you've got on, the merch and all of that. Obviously Adidas have given us a lump sum for that. But every single name and number on the back of a football shirt, Arsenal get the money. How many people would have gone and got Felix and whatever number he would have worn on the back of the shirt? Yeah, exactly. The club shop would have sold out in a day. Yeah, it would have been ridiculous. They wouldn't have had the X for Felix or some crap that we see all the time. They would have got a lot of money back on that. And if for the sake of 15.5 million quid, let's be real, we're a multi-billion pound football club. 15 million, and it might win us the title. And he walks in over Eddie. Mate, I think that's crazy. Absolutely crazy. What do you make of it all, Kenny?
Well, first and foremost is that, again, it's the old adage. You go to an Arsenal fan, and you know, as I said to you, Jez, yesterday, if rather than go A to Z, we go Z to A, and we go, right. Do you rate Felix? Yeah, I'll rate him. What do you think of his performance in the World Cup? You know what? I was really impressed. You know, do you think he's going to be like world class in the future? Oh yeah, definitely. He's going to be a top class player. He's going to get a brilliant assist for Portugal, and he'll get a good goal record. He's probably not going to be a Ronaldo's level. I'll definitely have him at Arsenal. If Mikel Arteta says we're going for him, we'll pay the money, would you back him? Yeah, I'll pick Mikel Arteta. The minute the club say it's not valued for money, they become accountants, our fans, and say, oh, I'm not paying that for him. Oh, that's a lot of money for player alone. Walk away. So we're going back to, and that's the problem with Arsenal Football Club. They need to realise, right, that they're not signing players who are going to get us in the top four. They're trying to sign players who are going to enhance our score because we're going for the title. He is a top-class player who can help us, enable us to win the title, because teams are going to begin working this out. And, you know, against Newcastle, we did need that bit of creativity. So it is great business to go and get him. If Arsenal really want a player, they have to accept that they're going to be in auction with Chelsea. And that, whether we like it or not, and this is where a lot of Arsenal fans are in denial with your point, the fact is that Chelsea have been in the Champions League consecutively for as long as I can remember. They probably only missed out in the Champions League once since Abramovich was at the club. Apart from that, they've been in the Champions League every year. They've won the gong for 2 years. So we're in a situation where we have to make Arsenal an attractive place to be. So if it means outbidding Chelsea, then outbid them. You can't say, oh yeah, you've got to come to Arsenal because we're going for a league title and Chelsea isn't. Well, that doesn't mean anything. You have to act like you're a big club. You've got to act like you're Arsenal, London's top club. You've got to be in the market for the big players, except we're in an auction. You want a player that bad, you get him to Modric as well. Arsenal definitely in for him, without a shadow of doubt. But to try and knock down his value, it counts for nothing because, I was actually watching Sky Sports earlier, and I made a really good point about Cucurella. Everyone thought he was going to Man City, and then guess what happened? Chelsea come at the 11th hour, turn his head, boom, boom. He goes to Chelsea because Chelsea paid the money. So that's the thing. If you alert the world to the fact that you're in for this big player, then your rivals are going to make a counter offer as well. So outbid Chelsea. Simple as that. Shakhtar are not messing around. The rest of Europe are in financial trouble, but it seems, especially the European leagues, but it seems the English leagues are going on as if it's business as usual. They are breaking their transfer expenditures every transfer window, regardless of whether it's the September window or the January window. So the money's there in English football. You just pay the money. Simple as that. And the way Arsenal go for it, I know a lot of people think that, Martinelli, he's probably going to be an understanding Martinelli. But the question I got for Arsenal fans, I'm going to leave it with all of you guys and our partners, Lee and Jez. If we do get Mudryk, I'm just going to state a fact, which you probably won't agree with. Just remember one thing. Saka is one of those must players all the time, i.e. alongside Odegaard and Partey. Just leaving that there. So we do get Mudryk. I repeat, Saka is a player that plays every game and he's undroppable. And Mudryk's a winger. So I'll just leave you with that.
Yeah. Albeit he does play on the other side, but unless Mikel's got some fancy plan for him.
Lee, it's open to debate. Not just for the three of us, but it's open debate for the panel. I'm just stating it again. Saka, Partey, and Odegaard are undroppable. And we're going
Zinchenko as well, because when he's fit, he's straight in the team, isn't
No, but in terms of consistently over the last couple of seasons, especially when both of them were, especially with Saka, we're talking about Saka anyway, when he's 50% fit, we still put him in the park. I repeat, he is a must play all the time. And that is going to remain as long as Arteta's at the club. So we're getting Mudryk. Again, I'll leave you guys to debate, to think about it big time. The future of why Arsenal go for him and and who may benefit and who may not. Sorry, lads. That's how it seemed to me.
Good
I
point.
want to bring this comment up from Harrison as well. Go on, Jez.
No, it's a very good point, Kenny, what you're saying there, because do we need this Mudryk? I mean, I put my hands out there. I actually had to ask a fella last night on my podcast, Steve, from America, who does, in fairness, watch a lot. He's got
watches every league.
He watched all, and he does watch the Ukraine league. And he was there. Kenny was there on the show, and I said, "What's the rate of him?" And he said, "Well, he's okay, but he's not worth that money." In his opinion,
and he's a Newcastle fan, so he's neutral. It's not like he's just I don't want him. He's actually a Newcastle fan. Big up Strasbourg, Steve, man. I want to bring this comment up. Let's start with you, Jez. If you could sign 3 players this January, who would you pick? Keep it realistic. No Mbappe nonsense.
No, I'd go for. I'll tell you now. I would go for Tielemans for sure. I'll go for Sahar. Proven, we could get him for literally no money. He's wanted to come for Arsenal for forever. And another one I would possibly go for, stick my neck on the line, I'd go for Maddison or Trossard.
There you go. What about you, Kenny?
Well, the thing about it, right, is that he says what Harrison said, be realistic, not go for Mbappe. But the whole point of our discussion is that we are now we need to move out of tier 2 kind of signings and getting a tier 1 because we're going for the title. So I'm not saying we should go for Mbappe, but we should be going. If we're going to go for this title and start competing for titles, in the future, then we have to be looking at that kind of market of getting us best players. In terms of what I would like, obviously, I've always cried out for another variety of strikers. So Ivan Toney would be great. I prefer Tielemans to Douglas Luiz, and that hasn't changed. And those areas I need to look at. And I have to, I'm not going to fall into say, if the club think he's a great player, let's get him. I empathise with it. But in terms of what I think we do need a different kind of striker to try and not unlock the door. And I do think that Tielemans is a player that I do like. But, Douglas Luiz is growing on me if he showed more consistency. But forgot, if you offered me Zaha right now, 2-year deal, yes, please. Yeah, I'll take it.
I'm going to give you 4 players, not 3. I'm going to give you 4 that are cost around 80 mil. Tielemans is ready to sign. Literally spent all summer twerking for Arsenal. Down tools. It's the only thing I will say. He has down tools this season. Do we really want that in our club? I don't know. But he gives us option off the bench. Take Xhaka off for 20 minutes to go and throw him on. A player that this fan base had the Vaseline and the tissue out for all summer, a couple of summers ago, was saying, wow, And guess what? He's got 6 months left on his contract. Just saying. Nobody's mentioned him since that summer. Funny that. Same with Emi Buendia. Everyone had their pants down for him. Just saying. So there's 2 midfielders that could slot onto the bench and give us a bit of squad depth. I would then go for Wilfried Zaha. And I would also go with Trossard. And between all of that, that would cost around 80 million quid.
Yeah.
And now when Mikel Arteta looks at his bench, we can go, right, Wilf, you're warming up, mate. Go on. Yeah. Tillemans, you as well, mate. Yeah, Trossard, you can start next week. We'll give Martinelli a rest. Like, all of a sudden, we have got a mad squad depth. And if we do something like that, we have plugged 2, 3, 4 positions. Wilfried Zaha can play the whole front line. So if Jesus is back, we can say, Martinelli, you have a rest this week. Or Saka, we're going to give you a break. Wolf's playing on the right. Yeah, or Trossard on the right, Jesus up front, and Zaha on the left or whatever. Like, I don't know. You could change it around. I'd love Ivan Toney. Yeah, but that'd cost a fortune. And he has got this betting scandal hanging over him. As much as I don't think it's going to come to much,
No.
I think doing 50, 60 mil on him, as much as I'd love to, and it ain't my money, I think we need to plug 4 gaps. 3 or 4 gaps. We also need a centre-back as well, because let's be real. If Saliba or Gabriel get injured, Rob Holding is playing again.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we can deal with for now, because our forward line is doing all right at the moment. But as soon as we get into the middle of the next 3 games are a test. Them 3 games all back to back to back. Tottenham, Man United, Man City. Mad. And then we've got Man City again in the league in a couple of games after that. And I think when the Europa League kicks back in, the final hurdle for the title, I think that if we're only going for 1 player, I think that's ridiculous. I genuinely, and somebody put a good comment out. I just want to read this out, and then I want to go back to this other comment quickly. Billionaires trying to save money while buying NFL Rams team a huge multi-billion-dollar stadium. We are not top of the financial priority of Kroenkes. Edu is at the wheel, right? And this is funny, right? Because he has spent an awful lot of money. Arsenal is just a little, it's okay. Well, he probably brought it as a Christmas present for his son.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Yeah. Oh, what do you want for Christmas this year, Josh? Just go and buy me Arsenal. Yeah, because he ain't interested. Let's be real. Stan couldn't give 2 fucks about Arsenal. Yeah, Josh, I think, cares a little bit more. But the people they've put in charge, mate, honestly. And there was a comment. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, DBS. Appreciate it, man. There was a comment I want to find real quick, if I can. I'm going to find it. I will find it. Smash the likes up while I'm looking for it. Typical. I should have started it. But there we go. There it is. Big up Darren John on Facebook. Club said trust the process for nearly 3 years. Well, it actually is 3 years because he got the job 3 years, 1 month ago. And now we're top of the Premier League. It's still a process. When is the cutoff point of this PRBS? Jez, let me ask you that first, because we are top. So when is the cutoff point? When is it acceptable? And we've said this for 3 years, all 3 of us, and everyone in the chat. For 3 years straight, we've said, when is the end date of the process? Is it any nearer, Jez, or is it still going to continue to be manipulated over the next 3 years?
Now, the end of the process is now. Simple as. Sorry, if Arsenal don't prove themselves, or Edu and the gang don't prove themselves in this transfer window, it ends now. If they don't deliver, Lee, and I said this at the start of the season, then if they don't deliver the Premier League at this season, go. They're done. They've got to walk. They've got to be sacked, because this is the biggest opportunity we've had since 2016. I think I'm correct in saying. And the best start to an Arsenal season in history. Fact. So the process
the quickest to get to 20 wins in all competitions as well. 25 games, we've got 20 wins in all competitions. That's the quickest ever.
So the process ends now. The fact is, Edu made the statement, it's all about trophies. Well, Edu, it's time to deliver. And I know, Edu, you watch, and you'll be watching right now while you're eating your burgers on your barbecue somewhere around the world, because you're obviously not doing your job. You're not obviously negotiating properly. I don't think you have the ability. So it ends now, and you've got to go out there and deliver the Premier League in May, because you've made the statement, my friend. You put your neck on the line. The process ends now.
What about you, Kenny?
Process has ended. And the reason why the process has ended is because Mikel's got his own team. He's made some decisions on certain players. He's clearly decided that Kieran Tierney is not his first choice left back. It's Shevchenko. He clearly was instrumental in getting JEZ'S because he wanted to improve us. And he's clearly looking at Modric to get in that side to become his own team. So the process has ended. And the reason why I say the process has ended is because he wants his team to evolve from playing the football he played when we first came to the football club and that wretched season when we lost to Valencia. And to be honest, the football's changed. The football's evolved. It's a lot better now. All these questions we were asking about the defence have been answered. All these questions you're asking about the midfield has been answered, all forward. And even questions about what we call bounce back ability has been answered. So the process is done. It's finished. It's over. It was over from probably, arguably, when we smashed Chelsea in the pre-season and beat Sevilla 6-0. This is now the time for Arsenal to challenge and preferably win the title. It's over now, which means getting these tier 2 players isn't happening no more. You have to be in the market for the best players. You have to prove and disprove what was said on Tuesday about Chelsea gazumping us in London's top club. Prove it. Go for the top players. Outbid Chelsea, not just in terms of financially, but provide an alternative to Chelsea. Because right now, we want to be saying, yes, we're in the Champions League as well. And yes, we're actually going to win it. We're not just going to have a process of trying to win the Champions League. We are now open for business, big boy business. So yes, the process is officially over. Time to live up.
100%. I want to read this out real quick, and then I'll come to this super chat as well. This was what's his job title now? I don't know. He was technical director. Is he sporting director? I don't know. He's got some fancy title where he gets an extra couple of million a year. Now we are really going to go for things. Arsenal transfer chief Edu Gaspar sends Premier League warning. This was, if you have a look there, the 25th of July, just as the season started. Arsenal transfer director, that's the funky title. Edu Gaspar has warned the rest of the Premier League that the Gunners will no longer settle for competing for 4th place, even though only yesterday our CEO came out and said the aim this season is Champions League. Well done, mate. So they're obviously all on the wrong page. It then says, and they must aim for titles and trophies in the coming seasons. Following the arrival of Zinchenko, blah, 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 blah. Let's go down. And Edu, who has played a key role in the transfer business, has explained that the plan is not to build a team just to compete for Champions League qualification, but instead to challenge for trophies, claiming that the club of Arsenal's size is not building for fighting for 4th place. Really? Then tell me, my friend, why you are still fucking around with the fucking Ukrainian steps from fucking... Oh, seriously, mate. It winds me up. It winds me up. The Ukrainian H from steps is 80 million, 12 days. Let's carry on. Champions League is okay. I accepted it, but I want to be realistic. But here in my head, I want to win. A club like Arsenal at our size is not building to be fighting for 4th place. I'm sorry. We have to be realistic. There is City, Liverpool, etc. That's fine. I accept that. But also, you cannot accept that. Here, when you join this club, when you see our size, you cannot accept it. That's why I was really, really hurt when I arrived. I said, that's not the mentality of this football club. What's happening? Everyone's comfortable. Everyone's okay. That was the 25th of July, 2022 at 1:36 in the afternoon. So tell me, Mr. Gaspar, other than sucking on your daughter's toes, what have you actually done since the transfer window shut in September? because other than giving Gabriel Magalhaes an extension to his contract, all I see that he's done is sit there and go down the route of saying, well, Saliba's not really signed a new deal yet, so we'll activate the clause because we have to do it before New Year's Eve, otherwise we can't do it. We'll activate that clause to keep him an extra year. Oh, we'll do the same with Charlie Patino as well. Why have you not signed Saliba to a new deal? Why is Saka not signed to a new deal? Why is Martinelli not signed to a new deal? Why have we wasted 12 days of the transfer window looking at a guy who has 9 league goals to his name ever for 80 million? Make it make sense. Anyway, get Guardiol, Kudas, Trossard and Zaha, sack Edu and hire Marina. Oh, that's a shout, you know. And we could go and get Tommy Tuchel back if he don't win the league as well, Arteta. Yeah, and get Tuchel and Marina in.
I don't know, man. There's rumours doing. I mean, Simon Jordan is basically put his thing as usual, rather than concentrate on matters that concern himself and concern his program. He's decided to, instead of going into someone's house and asking if waiting to be served dinner, he's gone into the buffet and put his hands into someone else's buffet by trying to leak the Tuchel news. But that's Simon Jordan all along. So who knows? Let's just hope that Tuchel hasn't made himself employable if it's not for a football reason. But the fact is I understand everyone wants to hire Groskaya, but I can tell you right now it's not happening. Groskaya works exclusively and loyally for one man and one man only, and we know who that man is. He's currently residing in Portugal and divided between Portugal and Turkey. We know who it is.
Yep. Unfortunately, it's a nice dream, though. we start acting like a big club in negotiations, that's for sure, because they don't piss about. But anyway, wow, that's what I wanted to talk about before we wrap this up. The new stadium wrap, Jez. It's about time they upgraded because the stadium was looking extremely tired. My opinion, it looks amazing. But that has diverted away from the fact that Edu hasn't done his job. And no doubt when we don't end up signing anyone, and let's not forget, if we've got money to go and pay a big lump sum for this kid, why were we pissing around on transfer deadline day over pennies for Douglas Luiz? Just saying, just saying. Is that allowed or are we negative? But what did you make of the wrap, mate? I think it looks really good. Really cool.
I think it's class. It shows a bit of history there as well. Lee, can you just pin a comment there as that guy, I joke?
If I can find it.
It's just popped up. It's just gone.
This one.
You, my fella, are the problem. It's you accept mediocrity. It's people like you in the fan base that don't want to achieve. You're quite happy to see people just wallow along on the crest of the wave, all nice and happy. You are the problem. It's people like you we don't want, because proper
people
Arsenal
like him that were sat there saying, why are you moaning we're fourth and then finished fifth?
Exactly.
With 3
because
games to go.
And you've never seen Arsenal win a title. You've never seen it. You don't know anything about the club. So do one. Don't come in here and criticise the 3 proper Arsenal fans and proper Arsenal fans in the chat who actually do know about this club, who've actually seen success, and we actually want it again. So just do one, sod off.
Well said, Jez. Well said. Tell him, mate. Tell him.
Well
Even
said.
the Arsenal fans in this chat know more about Arsenal. But anyway, as you were saying about the stadium.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like the fact it's showing a little bit of the background and the fact that it needs some proper, actually. The last time I was at the Emirates, which was 2 years ago. It looked shabby, it looked dirty, it looked a mess, and I'm liking the upgrade. So positive.
Yeah, what about you, Kenny?
It's good.
I think it's been fantastic. I think I do like it. To be honest, I was probably fell asleep at the wheel because I didn't realise it was the launch of the new artwork, and because I was just been concentrating on the football that's been on TV. But it's really nice to see it. And it's actually nice that people like Paul Davies was there and George Graham was there. I'm so glad that George Graham was there.
It was nice seeing all the old faces, wasn't it?
But I just think that George Graham should be celebrated a lot more than he is at Arsenal, and that's not taking away from Arsene Wenger. I say it. 3 men. If you want to, put Bertie into that triumvirate, feel free to do so. But the people who've set the standards for this great club are Herbert Chapman, George Graham, and Arsene Wenger. You can't deny it. You cannot, keep George Graham in the shadows when for what I call fictitious reasons. To the extent that the fact is that there's no if David Dean was at the club, I understand if George Graham's not around, but David Dean's not around anymore. Grow a pair, Arsenal. Get this guy involved.
Wenger wasn't even there, was he?
Yeah, but he was at the. He's getting a statue, and he was.
He doesn't want to go to the unveiling of.
I'm sure David Dean's working on him. The fact is that, grow a pair, Arsenal. Do your research. And if you're still unsure and need tipping over the edge, just go and put on a replay of that great night at Anfield and see who was responsible for it. Grow a pair and start celebrating this man a lot more. Because if you look at the standards we've set, he's had a lot to do with it. Don't wait for him to kick the bucket and then start celebrating. How about celebrating him whilst he's alive so he can be alive to feel the pride? Because he's Arsenal, he's Arsenal. Just as much as Arsene Wenger, he's Arsenal. Just as much as Chapman, he's Arsenal. Don't let anyone tell you anything.
Facts. I want to read this comment out real quick. It's absolutely pathetic. We should be celebrating and supporting the club right now, not trying to pick apart every little thing that is wrong. If we aren't happy now, we never will be. Let me just tell you something, mate. The season's not over on the 12th of January after 17 games of the season. Yeah, you were probably one of these fans sat on your social media account taking the piss out of Man United, taking the piss out of Tottenham, taking the piss out of all the other clubs all season, laughing, we're fourth, we're fourth, 3 games to go, you shitty little club in North London, you think you're better than us. And then 3 games later, you probably made excuses up on your social media account saying, well, we never expected to get top 4 anyway, mate. Yeah, our standards have never dropped in the 3 years this manager has been the manager. We haven't even mentioned the manager. Yeah, and the only time we have mentioned the manager is by saying he's overachieved this season. Yeah, by getting us top of the table with a squad that is thin. So well done to him. But our standards compete for the title. If you genuinely think that squad is good enough to go 38 games, then obviously you haven't been watching football very long, mate. You ain't been watching football very long. There will be injuries in the second part of the season. There will be iffy results. We haven't really had any yet other than Man United. And if you think that everything's rosy and you picked up that rug and swept it all underneath there, mate, I guarantee you'll be the first one to hide as soon as it all goes fucking sideways. Yeah, because that's what happens. The mouthiest ones, when it's going well, they all come out the woodwork at us. As soon as it all goes Pete Tong, I don't fucking see you lot all summer. Yeah, and then as soon as we start doing well again the next season, you're all back again.
It's the same. The fact is that they're not stupid. If you've watched the amount of games that are available free to air, you should understand that you've got to keep on. You can't celebrate and show any form of complacency, because let me tell you something now. Teams are watching Arsenal. Teams are setting up against Arsenal. Teams this season are seeing Arsenal and Man City as the teams to beat. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're not going to have it our way. We are going to be stressed because football's a stressful situation. Going for titles is very, very stressful. But everyone universally knows that we need reinforcements. Even the most positive fans are saying it, let alone the alleged negative fans. So whoever you are, you need to...
The difference is we see it 3, 4, 5, 6 months before everyone else. Yeah, we said in the summer when everyone was knocking one out over the transfer window in the summer, we're short of centre-back, we're short in midfield, and we're short of a striker. Yeah. Now, everyone's caught up.
And that's the thing. We want to... And you know what? I'm going to turn it on you. Top clubs take winning for granted. Top clubs have a crisis when it's a draw. If we want to call ourselves a top club, then we should never, ever, ever be satisfied with what we got right now. We push, and get to the top and stay there and demand that we stay there. That's a big club. And
The Real Madrid fans sit there when they're top of the table and accept a loss to Sheriff, even though they're top of the league. No, they don't. They had fucking white handkerchiefs out. Guess what? 4, 5, 6 months later, they won the Champions League.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Sergio Ramos has come out before, right? Because fans go, oh, look at these fans. They're booing. They're so toxic. It's only English football fans or English supported teams that have this issue, by the way, because all these other clubs have their ultras. Yeah, and the ultras dictate what happens at football. Yeah, not these fucking idiots that sit online that have never been to football, right? And it's only English fan or supported clubs that do this. Sergio Ramos came out when he was asked about the booing. He said, "Yeah, that fucking motivates us. That shows that we ain't the standards of Real Madrid." And he goes, "That inspires us. That shows that we're slacking off." And he goes, "And we take that as a compliment." Yeah, but when you're booing a player, jeering a player like Granit Xhaka when he was coming off, oh no, that's so toxic. Shut up, man. Raise the bar. Yeah, we're.
It's a fact is that I see it all every day, different places. We've got fans want to win the league. They've never seen us win the league. They want to win a European trophy. They've never seen us win a European trophy. They want the FA Cup. Well, we won the FA Cup 3 years ago. Are you telling me seriously we're going to win the league, a European trophy, and the FA Cup with this squad? No.
Yeah. You
can't. And we have to juggle all three of them competitions.
And that's the thing. We are saying, come on. And you know who the most if you think we're negative, you know who's the most negative, dissatisfied person at this football club? I tell you, your manager, our manager, Mick Arteta. You watch Mick Arteta when we're winning football matches. You watch him, because I can see him from the dugout, and you see how he berates the players if they do not chase down the opposition when they're trying to clear their lines, and we're winning. He does. I go to home and away games, so the most dissatisfied and the most less pleased employee at the football club is the manager himself. You think we're demanding? He is 10 times more demanding than us. And I'll tell you one thing: even if we do something this season, there's going to be players that you rate really highly. You're going to think, no, sorry, I can get better because I want to get there. He's more ruthless than us.
The difference is, though, mate, they fancy him and they don't fancy us three.
No.
That's all it comes. We ain't got nice trip and nice tats and nice everything. Do you know what I mean? Nice hair. We ain't got perfect hair. In fact, all of us are going bald. Let's just be real with it.
You're wrong there, because I've actually got a bloke on Insta who actually fancies me.
I haven't got that, Jez.
Big up to Cameron as well. He says, I've been a fan of Arsenal since 08. I've never seen them win a title. All I know is mid-table mediocrity. The older fans telling me I've missed the bus as a fan. I want them to win the league. And that's the thing, mate. I feel sorry for people that actually get it. Yeah, that haven't seen us win a league, that actually demand to win a league. Because the majority of these fans that haven't seen us win a league, like, it's funny because they sit there and they say, oh, yeah, but we're not just going to go and buy any player. They have to fit the profile of the club. That's how we got in this mess under Wenger. Exactly, because nobody's asked what the profile is, Kenny, right? And then these are the same people that go, oh, that's how we got in this mess. But the same very people kept Arsene Wenger, who got us in this mess, in a job for a decade too long.
Yes.
It was like, well, it was okay to keep Wenger in the job when you wanted Wenger to stay, but now your excuses have shifted this way, and he was the problem. Well, thank you. We were all marching down the fucking road with banners trying to get him out. Yeah, but we were negative. Like, come on, it's a shambles. We haven't competed for a title for 7 years. This is the best chance we've had in 7 years, and we haven't spent a penny yet. And do you know what pisses me off? The fact that we've got the money to go and buy this lad, but we didn't spend it in the summer. We deliberately left that squad short, and he's done a miracle so far, and he has done a miracle. So when people say I'm negative, I've said it on every podcast I've been on for weeks. He has overachieved so far with that squad to where we are, 5 points clear of City. But if we end up not winning it, it's fucking irrelevant.
You know what? If this guy's the man, help the guy. Help him. Because at the end of the day, he wants to win trophies. So help that guy. But if you think with some of our fans as well, you got to remember, right? Everyone is on YouTube. Everyone, I know fans who go to our matches. Still, I mean, some of them don't go on Twitter. They only use Facebook to promote their businesses. So when you see all these people with these big Twitter handles and everything, one really wise woman said to me, and her name is a girl called Claire, and I've been in podcasts before. She said to me 5 years ago, I said, Ken, Twitter only covers 0.1% of our fan base. Just remember that. The fans who go through those turnstiles every week, right? They're the ones who are not influenced by any of you guys who are going for your likes and your follows. They're the ones, or the ones who travel away who we never heard of because they don't do interviews on the fan cams afterwards. They don't do what I do. And, they're the ones who are not philosophical. They're the ones who want to win because I speak to them because I know them, because I grew up with them. And I'm not saying I know more than them, but I know them. And I've known them for years. I've known them since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. So I know I'm on the ground. I know that they are completely divorced in terms of mentality and divorced in terms of opinion from the so-called top gooners who think they represent us on social media, because you're not even 1% of our fan base. So don't kid yourself. Those guys who are marching down the high road, they're the ones who are the judge and jury, not you lot.
Absolute facts. And on that bombshell, we are going to wrap this up. I'll be live again in 1 hour and 10 minutes for the Chelsea watch along. Pinned comment in the live chat, so make sure you go and sub to that. I'll be live again tomorrow on that channel for Villa Leeds, and I needed 2,000 hours watch time. We got in the last 2 games about 1,200 watch time. So if we can double that again, I'll be monetized hopefully by the weekend. Then I can start uploading the videos I want to upload. So yeah, big up to everybody who's been joining in, watching that, and helping with the watch time as well. But Jez, what you got coming up, mate?
Well, on with Diesel and Northside at 8 tonight, and looking forward to that because it's always fun with Diesel and Northside. And I've rewritten my history stuff after I lost it all, so I'm going to be dropping that over the weekend probably. The next one is Pat Jennings, the series I was doing about iconic goalkeepers. I've had a load of people ask me to do one of Arsenal's iconic goalkeepers in the 60s, so I will do that at some point. And I'm going to do the one I lost after I spent 3 hours typing it all up. The final part of Arsenal in the 30s, the glory 30s, and then I'm going to think of some different ideas about different stuff, because the history stuff don't get great views, to be honest, which is fair enough. I enjoy doing it because I like talking about the history, but it is what it is. Next Wednesday will be, I'm going to do a match review, Tottenham Arsenal. I'm going to do that because that's a massively important game. Next Wednesday, obviously, the every week podcast. I don't know if you're around next Wednesday, Lee, but do that one. But so I've got some stuff coming up. I'll be doing more stuff. I've learned a lesson that if you go quiet for too long, your subs drop. So I'll keep it going.
What about you, Kenny? You're obviously going to be at the game on Sunday, but what else?
Yeah, that's a game I'm looking forward to a lot. And you know what? I just hope it's not like the experiences I used to have at Stamford Bridge. Really looking forward to the game and coming away really disappointed. But it's going to be an hard game. It's Arsenal's most difficult away game this season. I'm not, and that's not disrespect to any other side. It's because of what it means to both sets of fans. So that's the only reason why I'm saying I'm not being in any way disrespectful, bigging up Spurs. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. But apart from that, I'll be being a pest on Instagram.
Talking of pests, mate, I've got a fucking mosquito doing the rounds.
Right, we could tell. It's those lights, Lee. It's those lights. You need to. You lighting in the house.
I need shades on, mate. But yeah, big up to everyone who's watching on playback. I will be live in 1 hour and 7 minutes for the Chelsea game.
Don't wear your shirt this time.
Oh, I've never worn colours for years. It's when I just don't know. I must have probably someone must have spiked my drink, and then I must have done something stupid. You know what I mean? Won't be happening again. I can assure you. You know what I mean?
Make sure you fire the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Jez. Follow Kenny's Insta. Both links in description. Make sure you sub to the pinned comment. And big up to Cole Rossi, man. Happy birthday to you, mate. And I'm out of here, people. I'm out of here. Adios, amigos. Edu out.